What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we are going to be bantering about the state of the 2023 Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, before I get into breaking down the franchise, we have a corresponding article up on laracuenteledger.com detailing everything that we're about to discuss here. So make sure you check that out. It is in the show links, the show notes down in the links below. So we begin looking at the major acquisition. Now, when it comes to the major acquisition for the Dodgers, they have replaced Justin Turner with a new DH in JD Martinez. To me, Martinez being repaired with Mookie Betts is a very good move. I think that for Martinez, his understanding of the strike zone, his understanding of a hitting approach, and his ability to impart that wisdom to his surrounding players is a very good move. I also think that for the Dodgers, this is another additional on-field hitting coach that they have now in the dugout. For me, the addition of JD Martinez is going to give the Dodgers a bit more of a sure thing when it comes to their designated hitter spot. But even though that limits the kind of versatility that we've seen from LA, being able to kind of use that as a roving position, this now gives them a consistent bat. I think that for JD, the 2023 season is going to be a bit of a bounce back from where he was in 2022. And I think the repairing with Mookie Betts is going to put him into a very good headspace. So for the Dodgers, this is a solid move in my opinion. Now, when it comes to the significant injuries, Gavin Lux is the player that we're discussing. This would be a very, very tough thing to watch, as Gavin in spring training would tear his ACL and he's done for the season. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the injuries that happened to Edwin Diaz and Jose Altuve in the World Baseball Classic, but not much is being mentioned about this injury here. For the Dodgers, this was going to be a player that is absolutely a significant piece for their 2023 plans. That is no longer the case. This is going to be one of those guys that we're going to have to wait and see how he responds to treatment in 2024. I think for the Dodgers, this is a big blow, but obviously this is a team that has built up an incredible amount of depth and should be able to withstand that for the rigors of the 162-game season. But no doubt about it, you have to feel for a player like Gavin Lux, who was finally given his opportunity, and now he won't have that. Now, as we look at the top prospect for the Dodgers, it is a catcher by the name of Diego Cartaya. When you look at what Diego is going to be able to do for the Dodgers, this is a guy who absolutely has a tremendous hit tool. When you look at the scouting grades from MLB.com, he has a 50 hit tool out of a 20 to 80 grade scale, 60 in the power department, 60 in the arm department, and 55 in the fielding department for an overall grading of a 60. This is a player that is really going to come into his own for the Dodgers in the next coming couple of seasons. I think that for LA, this is a player that they're really going to be dependent on. There's going to be opportunities because he's still, in my opinion, a work in progress in the defense part of the equation for the catching ability. But you know what he is going to be able to provide offensively is very, very consistent. I also believe that his being around a guy like JD Martinez, who can also impart some of that hitting wisdom and the approach, is really going to be able to help out Diego in a very big way. When we see Diego on the field for the Dodgers, we'll have to see how that all plays out. I think that, however, this is going to be a player that very much contributes to the Dodgers' next World Series run. Now, when it comes to bold predictions, this may not be one of the boldest, but I do believe the Dodgers are going to make the postseason but lose in the NLDS. If you look at Dodgers Twitter, the way that it's gone down the last several years, there's a constant feeling of this team is not good enough to get through the postseason and win it all. Yes, we would see them win in the shortened 2020 campaign, but overall, throughout the course of 162 games, this is a powerhouse, a juggernaut of a team. But when they get to the postseason, the way that analytics really show themselves out over the course of the 6-month grueling grind that is the regular season, they don't necessarily translate in the same exact way in the postseason. And 2023 is going to be another season of that same type of feeling in the air for Dodgers fans. Now, with that being said, we discussed the divisional rankings predictions, and for the Dodgers, it's first overall in the National League West. We have a corresponding article up on laracuenteledger.com and a video here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast where we go into more depth about the divisional rankings predictions that we have. But overall, I think that the depth that the Dodgers have really lends themselves out to being the number one team in this division over the course of the 6-month season, the grind of a 162 major league campaign. But that being said, as I just said, I don't necessarily know exactly how this analytical approach really is going to fare for the Dodgers long term and towards their postseason hunt. In those shorter series, we're going to see that the depth is tested. We're going to see how things play out. But over the course of 162, I believe in the Dodgers' depth and versatility to be able to withstand and be number one in the division. Now, when it comes to grading out the pitching staff for this squad, it is a B+ overall. The Dodgers have been a very good pitching staff. We know this, their analytical approach, the way that they craft pitches, the way that they tunnel their pitchers in. There's an opportunity for this staff to be one of the very best in Major League Baseball. Now, it is going to be about a more of a sums of all parts as opposed to one individual guy. But if you're really going to put the onus on one player to really look to as the ace of the staff, it is obviously Julio Urias. But when you look at what the Dodgers are going to be able to do in 2023, I think that it is going to be a full team assault from the pitching side of things. I think that the depth that they have with their bullpen, the versatility that they have, really allows them to be a team that pushes forward in the long term. So for the pitching staff on the Dodgers, it's a B+. Now, as we grade out the offense, it is an A overall. The Dodgers offensively are a loaded team. And even with the injury to Gavin Lux, there is still a ton of depth on this organization that they're going to be able to withstand a move like this. Yes, they would already acquire another shortstop even before this injury took place in Miguel Rojas. I also think that they're going to give an opportunity to kind of mix and match some guys all throughout the lineup, as we've seen the Dodgers do repeatedly over the last several years. There is a feeling in this organization that when it comes to the 162 game campaign, there are no teams better outside of maybe the Houston Astros. But the way that things translate for this Dodgers team are really going to be graded out on the postseason. So we'll see exactly how it all plays out. But as it stands right now, being built out before the season starts, it's an A overall. And when it comes to grading out their offseason, it's a D. It's just above failing. I don't think the Dodgers did nearly enough to be able to withstand the losses that they had. Justin Turner may have been an older player, but he was still versatile and provided solid enough play for the Dodgers. Yes, replacing him with JD Martinez will kind of even out the bat, but you still had a guy who was versatile enough to be able to play multiple positions for you on the infield. JD is going to be limited to the outfield, if at all, and most likely just going to be a DH. You also did not protect yourself, in my opinion, from a potential loss like you have now with Gavin Lux. Yes, trading for Miguel Rojas is going to be a solid addition, but I don't think that that's going to be enough offensively to really help push the Dodgers through the course of the postseason. You lost Trey Turner. The year before that, you lost Corey Seager, and you have not done anything. Yes, we know the Dodgers are waiting for the next offseason to come to fruition, where Shohei Ohtani is going to be a free agent. We know that that's what they're awaiting. They're going to invest a heavy ton of money in Shohei Ohtani to try to lure him to the other side of LA. And this is going to be an opportunity for the Dodgers. But when it comes to this offseason, you did not do enough, in my opinion, to really give yourselves anything better than a just barely above failing grade. Now, all of that being said, when we grade out this franchise, it's an A overall. The Dodgers have done a lot over the last several years, over the last decade, to really make themselves not just a perennial postseason contender, but a World Series contender. Yes, the course of the 162 game season, they are one of the very two best teams in baseball. But we have seen the way the analytics don't necessarily play out exactly the same way in the short series that is the postseason. I think for the Dodgers, they have built up enough depth to be able to withstand injuries like that of Gavin Lux. But I also believe that for the Dodgers, they are looking to try to better themselves all around. They have a ton of star power already on this roster, and with those players continuing to grow, develop, and better themselves each and every season, they're lending themselves to be the best team in the National League. But there are going to be serious questions about how much further can the Dodgers go with this payroll? How much further can they go with their player development? How much more can they withstand injuries like they have had to Gavin Lux? There's going to be a lot of questions surrounding the Dodgers, especially with the increased pressure that is now being put on them by the San Diego Padres. The increased pressure that is coming from other places in the National League when it comes to the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, the Cardinals. There's a ton of teams now that are really going to be hunting the Dodgers down for that best record in the National League. So there's a lot of questions that are still to be asked. But overall, when you look at the way this franchise is, the depth that they have, it's an A overall franchise. Now, I want to hear from you, baseball fans. Dodgers fans, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings on your team in 2023? Where do they end up? Is it going to be a juggernaut in the regular season and miss out on the postseason as I'm predicting? Or is this a team that is built, in your opinion, in your mind, to go all the way? Let me know that down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, where we can keep the conversation rolling. If you want to find us more on our social media outlets, make sure you check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Baseball Banter Broadcast. And beyond that, if you want to show more support, head over to laracuenteledger.com. Again, a corresponding article on this video is up right now as we speak, so you can check that out. And if you want to show more support beyond that, head over to our merchandise shop, baseballbanterbroadcast.com, where we have a ton of Banter merch, and you can use any number of promo codes that we have running on the banner of the website to save on that merchandise. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're checking this out on YouTube and you haven't already, hit the subscribe and the bell for post notifications, as it really does help us grow this community. And most of our audience here on this YouTube channel is not yet subscribed. So if you haven't and you're loving what you're seeing here from us on a daily basis, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell for post notifications. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast listening platform, make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review for the same reason. We're trying to build the Baseball Banter Broadcast community, and we can only do so if you leave a 5-star rating and review. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next broadcast when we banter about baseball. Peace.